Hi, welcome to this episode of Millennial Pocket. Today we're going to be looking at the rise and fall of Blackberry. Blackberry was one of the most popular and successful brands of smartphones in the early 2000s. At its peak, the company controlled 50% of the smartphone market in the US and 20% globally, around 2009. After falling from its highs, hitting 0.04% of the market share, it has switched directions and is currently attempting to restructure itself. In the past decade, Blackberry has seen a significant decline in its revenue figures, recorded revenues of $893 million compared to its almost $20 billion in 2011. But why did Blackberry struggle and what were the reasons for its fall? We are going to dive deeper into the origin of Blackberry, its growth years, why it failed, and its new businesses. Sit back, relax, and let's take a look. In 1984, two Canadian engineering students, Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Frigin, formed Research in Motion. At first, the company dabbled mostly in random projects. An LED system for GM, a local network for IBM, and even a film editing system that won an Oscar in 1998. In 1996, RIM created its first two-way pager, the Interactive Pager 900, a pager and wireless network system which had a small-sized screen, keyboard buttons, continuous access to corporate emails, and became an instant hit. In 1997, Research in Motion went public on the Toronto Stock Exchange and began trading on the Nasdaq on February 4, 1999, with a closing price at $1.92. The very first device to carry the Blackberry name was the Blackberry 850, an email pager released on January 19, 1999, which was the first device that came with functionality for push email. The name was chosen due to the resemblance of the keyboard's buttons to that of the drupelets that compose the Blackberry fruit. In 2000, RIM launched the first smartphone called the Blackberry 957, known for the QWERTY keyboard and its famous user interface. Blackberry became soon the device of choice in corporate America due to its enterprise-level security and business functionality. Attributed to the increased use by enterprises and governments, RIM's revenues grew between 1999 and 2001 and continued to expand functionality in the Blackberry OS and Blackberry Enterprise Server. The golden period of 2001 to 2007 saw Blackberry's global expansion and the addition of new products to its portfolio. As the years passed, Blackberries became more advanced. They had cameras and new multimedia capabilities, which made them appealing to a bigger audience. In fact, after successfully gaining a foothold in the enterprise market, it expanded into the consumer market. The Blackberry Pearl series was very successful, especially among teenagers. It incorporated a better camera and the new Blackberry messaging service, which was perfect for adolescents. It could send images, voice notes, pictures, locations, create group chats, and of course text. It was the original version of WhatsApp. During this period of time, early and mid-2000s, celebrities were touting Blackberries. Kim Kardashian, Beyoncé, Barack Obama, and many more were obsessed with the device. Blackberry became so associated with celebrities that several bloggers created specific websites dedicated to it. At its peak, the Blackberry brand sold around 50 million devices per year, with annual sales of almost $20 billion. Additionally, in 2008, its stock price rocketed from $2.15 per share to $150 per share. In 2007, Apple introduced its iPhone, the first prominent touchscreen phone. BlackBerry ignored it initially, perceiving it to be an enhanced mobile phone with playful features targeted at younger consumers. But the iPhone was a huge hit, and this was the start of BlackBerry's demise. BlackBerry continued to dominate the smartphone market through 2010, when it still held over 40% of domestic and nearly 20% of global market share. Ultimately, however, it was a combination of slow market reactions, focusing on the wrong end market, misunderstanding the smartphone's value proposition and poor execution that sealed BlackBerry's fate. BlackBerry's leadership initially dismissed Apple's touchscreen iPhone, insisting that users preferred their physical keyboard. When the iPhone sold well, BlackBerry hastily released a touchscreen device, the BlackBerry Storm, which often didn't work properly and was met with horrendous reviews. Subsequent devices reintroduced the keyboard in a combo touchscreen keyboard setup, like the BlackBerry Bold, which momentarily stemmed the tide but would eventually prove misguided as the market continued moving toward larger screen real estate. As Apple and Google with Android made smartphones accessible to the mass consumer by creating slick user interfaces and attractive apps, BlackBerry remained focused on its enterprise customers and their security and connectivity requirements. BlackBerry catered to its most important customers that generated most of its revenue and profits, and hence neglected the end market that would ultimately become the most important. The majority of big businesses and government organizations relied on BlackBerry's superb security, reliable email, and utilitarian functionality to keep their workers productive on the move. BlackBerry Messenger had even accomplished the unlikely feat of making a business device popular among young users as well. However, when enterprises adopted bring-your-own-device policies, which allowed employees to use their personal smartphones, laptops, and tablets for work, it was no surprise that employees began replacing work BlackBerrys with personal iPhones or Android phones. Being conservative and seeking to appease existing customers was only half of the problem. In part due to its enterprise focus, BlackBerry innovated primarily around feature improvement, such as faster email and better security. In doing so, it missed the value proposition of the smartphone as a platform for personal productivity and entertainment. While Apple and Google built a moat around their third-party app ecosystems and app developers, BlackBerry's insistence on first-party development made its devices far inferior. Even its most popular app, BlackBerry Messenger, was leveraged ineffectively. By mandating that BBM be installed only on BlackBerry devices instead of building up a larger user base across platforms, BlackBerry missed the opportunity that third-party messaging apps like WhatsApp eventually took advantage of. Not only did the company react slowly trying to adapt to a new market, but it couldn't even execute properly. The launch of the touchscreen Storm in 2008 was a colossal failure. The 2010 release of the Playbook tablet was largely derided for a lack of native email, calendar, and contacts applications. By November 2012, BlackBerry's market share in the United States had dropped to just 7.3%, with Google and Apple claiming 53.7% and 35% market share respectively. Despite declining US sales, BlackBerry continued to have success globally. It reported 77 million users globally during the last quarter of 2012, demonstrating its success in global expansion. Owing to these local losses versus global success, the stock displayed high volatility. The worst year was 2011 as BlackBerry's stock price tanked around 80% amid declining market share. Continued earnings losses resulted in further declines, most prominently the first quarter loss in 2014 of $84 million, which led to a roughly 30% decline in the share price. In 2012, after 3 decades, Mike Lazaridis stepped down and Torsten Heinz took over. Under his management, the company released new phones like the C30 and its long-awaited BlackBerry OS, which were just okay and didn't amaze as BlackBerry did in the past. So, just 1 year later, Heinz was gone and was replaced by John Chen, the former CEO of Sybase. Since bringing on turnaround veteran Chen as CEO in late 2013, BlackBerry has given up on producing phones and has reinvented itself as a software and services business. Leveraging a portfolio of enterprise security products and riding the wave of automotive innovation with its QNX system, Chen seems to have built a new foundation for the company. In the autonomous vehicle space, BlackBerry has partnered with Baidu, Nvidia, and Qualcomm to secure their software. However, the stock has lost more than half of its market value as the company's mobile business has been decimated by the competition and it has been forced to shift its focus towards other segments. Now most of BlackBerry's revenue comes from its enterprise software and services and BlackBerry Technology Solutions business segments. Although it is still in the beginning stages of rebuilding profitability, the situation looks more promising than it has for a long time, and only time will tell whether BlackBerry will rise again. What do you think about BlackBerry? Did you have one of its devices? Do you think they will increase their revenue in the future? Please let me know in the comments section below. Leave a like if you got some value from this video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, we post every day there. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching guys. Until next time.